So you're thinking about becoming a manicurist.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, right. It seems like such a cool blend of creativity, connecting with people, and let's be honest, who doesn't love a flexible schedule?
So true.
But we wanted to go beyond just like the surface level of, oh, being a manicurist sounds fun.
Yeah.
And really dig into whether this is actually the right career path for you.
Okay.
And luckily, RoleCatcher has this amazing career guide.
It's really in depth.
Yeah, and that's what we're diving into today.
Awesome.
So one of the things I really appreciate about this guide is, they don't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
They get into like the good, the bad.
Right, the real deal.
Yeah, like what you really need to know.
Exactly.
And one of the first things they do is break down the pros and cons, which I thought was really smart.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, because it kind of gives you that balanced perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, flexibility is there. They highlight that, especially for parents, people with busy schedules.
Yeah, that's a major plus for a lot of people.
Huge, right.
Huge. Like being able to set your own hours.
Right, being your own boss.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Which they actually talk about.
Yeah.
Owning your own salon.
That's the dream for a lot of people.
Right. And they actually give you like concrete steps, which I thought was cool.
They really lay it all out.
Yeah, like how to actually make that happen if that's your goal.
It's not just like, oh, you could own a salon. It's like, here's how you actually do it.
Right, exactly.
Which is really helpful.
Yeah, but then they also get into, some of the challenges like they're upfront about potentially lower starting pay.
Which, it's something to consider for sure.
It is. It is.
But they also talk about how to increase your earning potential.
Which I thought was cool because they didn't just leave it there.
Exactly. They give you options.
Like, okay, maybe starting out, it might not be, what you ultimately want to be making.
Right.
But they highlight, specializing in a niche area.
Yeah, that's key. Like, they give an example of medical nail care.
Interesting.
Right. Like working with people who maybe have specific needs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. And they say, like, that can be incredibly lucrative because you're providing, like, a specialized service.
You're not just any manicurist. You're the manicurist for that.
Exactly.
I love that.
So it's like, thinking strategically about how you can kind of up your game in that way.
Yeah, and build that expertise.
Exactly.
Because like you said, it's not just about painting nails.
It's so much more.
Right.
And that's something else that they emphasize in the guide. And I was kind of surprised.
Oh. Tell me more.
Yeah, so when they get into the skills section,
okay.
I mean, obviously, steady hand, attention to detail, that's given.
Right.
But then they start talking about critical thinking.
Oh, interesting.
Right. And at first I was like, critical thinking for a manicurist?
Yeah, I can see why that would be a little surprising.
But then they explained it, and it actually makes so much sense.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
So, like, imagine a client comes in and they've got, really brittle nails.
Okay.
Right. A skilled manicurist doesn't just slap on some polish and call it a day.
Right.
They're analyzing, okay, what's causing this? Is it diet? Is it, lifestyle? Are they using like harsh products?
It's like being a nail detective.
Right. And then they're recommending treatments.
Okay, I see where the critical thinking comes in.
Exactly.
But a whole other level of care.
Right. It's not just about the aesthetics.
It's about nail health.
Exactly. And then on top of that, they talk about like the importance of building your personal brand, especially online.
Oh, that's so smart.
Which in today's world is huge.
Essential, really.
Right. Like if you're not on Instagram.
Do you even exist?
Right. Especially if you're thinking about like maybe going out on your own someday.
Exactly.
They really emphasize that.
It makes sense.
Building a strong online presence can make or break a manicurist.
Totally agree.
It's like having your own little portfolio.
Exactly. Exactly.
So people can actually see your work.
Yeah, because that's what people want to see.
Right.
They want to see what you can do.
It's one thing to say, oh, I'm a great manicurist.
Right. But the proof is in the pictures.
Exactly. Show, don't tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So we talked about potentially owning your own salon, which, by the way, the guide lays out a really clear, like, career path.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, like starting as an assistant,
okay,
moving up to, maybe managing a salon.
Wow.
And then eventually, like, owning your own place.
That's cool. They actually give you those steps.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they talk about, like, how to build a strong foundation along the way.
Which is important because you don't just wake up one day and own a salon.
Right. It's a journey.
Right. It's the process.
And they even recommend, like, apprenticeships.
Oh, that's smart.
Or internships to really learn from experienced professionals.
Because there's so much you can learn from someone who's been there, done that.
So much. And it's not just about, mastering the technical
Right.
skills,
There's a whole other side to
the
it.
business side of things, right?
Yeah, like how to manage appointments, how to deal with, difficult clients.
Ugh. Don't even get me started on difficult clients.
I know, right? But that's part of it.
That's real life.
Exactly. And it's good that the guide addresses that.
It does. And, it made me think, like, even just watching a seasoned pro, like, in action,
Yeah.
like how they handle those situations, that's invaluable.
Absolutely. You can learn so much from observation.
So much. But it's not just about, getting that initial experience.
Right, because the learning never stops.
They really emphasize continuous learning, which I love.
Oh, I love that because the beauty industry, it's constantly changing.
Constantly. New techniques, new products.
New trends.
Oh my gosh, the trends. Remember when we saw those crazy 3D nail sculptures on Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Mind-blowing. Right.
Like the artistry.
It's incredible what people can do with nails these days.
It's insane. But that's the thing. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
And they talk about, like, looking into certifications.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like a nail technician certification.
Right, to show that you're serious.
Exactly. It's like having that seal of approval.
It's like a stamp of credibility.
Right. And speaking of seals of approval,
Right.
one thing I really appreciated was how they handle the interview process.
Oh, yeah, that's always a little nerve-wracking.
Right. Like, how do you even prepare for that?
Well, it can be intimidating.
But they don't just give you, like, generic advice.
Oh, yeah.
They actually give you real questions.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Like questions you're likely to be asked in an interview.
That's so helpful.
Right. Like one of them that stood out to me was, how do you handle a client who's unhappy with their service?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. Because it's bound to happen.
Oh, it's inevitable. Everyone in the service industry knows that.
Exactly. And it's not just about, like, fixing the problem.
Right, it's how you handle it.
Exactly. It's about showing them, like, hey, I can handle a tough situation with grace.
Yeah, that you're professional, that you can stay calm under pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, let's be real, not every client's going to be a walk in the park.
Sadly, that is true.
Right.
And that's where those soft skills come in.
Yes. Like active listening.
Communication, empathy.
Which, by the way, the guide actually gives you tips on, like, how to navigate those tricky conversations.
Oh, wow. So they really go deep.
They really do. It's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
It's so true. And you know what else I thought was really interesting is that the guide actually addresses the not so glamorous side of being a manicurist.
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
Well, like, they're upfront about the physical demands.
Okay.
Like standing for long periods.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right?
You're on your feet all day.
All day. And they talk about, like, the potential for repetitive strain injuries. Oh, that's so important because that's something that a lot of people don't think about till it's too late.
Exactly. And, I've heard from friends who are hairstylists
Yeah.
that it's like a real thing.
It is. It's so real.
Like, you have to take care of your body.
Absolutely. You have
Yeah.
to be mindful of your posture, take breaks when you need them.
Ergonomics, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like that the guide emphasizes that because it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day.
Right. And you're just focused on your clients and making them happy.
Yeah, but you got to take care of yourself too.
Exactly. And, while we're talking about health,
Mm-hmm.
we touched on the exposure to chemicals earlier.
Right, which is a real concern.
It is. And I appreciated how the guide, like, dove into specifics.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they talked about formaldehyde,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which is often found in nail hardeners.
Right.
And how it can be a respiratory irritant, especially if you're not in a well-ventilated space.
That's scary.
Right. So they even gave tips on, like, finding salons that prioritize a healthy environment.
Oh, that's good to know. So it's not just about the clients, it's about the employees too.
Exactly. And, it's about being an informed advocate
Yes.
for yourself and for your clients.
Absolutely, because you're spending so much time in that space.
Right. And you want to make sure it's a safe space.
For sure. And, speaking of advocating,
Yes.
we can't forget about the financial piece of this.
Oh, that's right. Because we talked about starting salaries maybe being lower.
Right. But the guide really emphasizes the earning potential
Yeah, once you get that experience under your belt.
and builds your clientele.
Oh, that's huge, right?
Huge. They even gave an example.
Did they?
Yeah, of someone who transitioned from a traditional salon
Okay.
to offering mobile manicures.
Oh, that's smart.
Right.
Like going to the clients?
Exactly. Catering to a luxury clientele, setting their own rates.
Wow. So they were really able to, like, up their income that way.
Exactly. And it's about, like you said earlier, thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Finding those creative solutions.
Leveraging your skills.
And you know what else they talked about that I thought was super helpful? networking.
Oh, networking is key.
Right. And they weren't kidding. They actually connect you with a whole community of nail professionals.
Get out of here.
Seriously, both online and through events.
That's amazing. So you're not just out there on your own.
Exactly. It's like having this built-in support system.
I love that.
Right, especially when you're first starting out.
Because it can be really daunting to go out on your own.
So daunting. But to have those mentors, to get advice, to share your work, get feedback.
It's invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
It really speaks to RoleCatcher's approach. Like, it's not just about finding a job.
Right. It's about finding a career that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I love creativity, I love connecting with people, I love the idea of flexibility and like really building something amazing.
Yeah.
Becoming a manicurist could be your thing. And honestly, this RoleCatcher guide is like the ultimate roadmap.
It really does lay it all out for you.
It gives you the insights, the steps, even the connections you need to get started.
Yeah, the rest is up to you.
Exactly. Now it's your turn to take action and make it happen.
Go get 'em.